Hi, welcome to FootyWit podcast, the transfer news roundup, and we'll be reviewing the game week four games that went down. We saw Manchester United getting thumped. That was so bad, so sad. And we saw Chelsea winning, Chilwell coming, doing what he was signed to do, and also Arsenal's scrappy win against Sheffield United. 3 points though, that's what really matters. My name is Ahiz Anthony, and I'm not here alone. I'm here with my fellow podcasters in Chimamaka and Okwe. So we'll take it up straight. We just take it up straight from here. Manchester United got Tom 6-1. What happened or what should they have done? Do they need new players? Or because this their gaffer, Ole said that they have a team that can be champions. Is that true, guys?
Personally,
For
the
me,
the result is
it's
not surprising.
mhm.
The result to me is not surprising at all in any way. It's been a long time coming actually. Well, it's they've been favored in several aspects since the beginning of the season. We saw what happened that's game week three, but that was their own game week two, where the referee had to call back a penalty after the final whistle. So there has been favors here and there, but today I enjoyed every bit of that game. They had the penalty as early as 20, less than 3 minutes of the game, and we saw what happened. Now, what the with the United team that's happening, what happened today? I saw them self implode. They have issues that needs to be sorted out. I think first the gaffer needs to sort himself out. Whatsoever is telling the players is no longer working. The players need to self motivate themselves because if you watched the game today, I would tell you I cannot I don't see any football analyst who actually analyze what they played because it was total rubbish in my opinion. And that's my take. 6-1, it should have been more though. Well, over to you, man.
Yeah, look, just like Chimamaka said, it was a terrible display of football. You know, you think about the Manchester United that we know and that we all grew up watching under Sir Alex Ferguson, compared to this current Manchester United side, it's nothing to write home about. And look, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, well, there's so many things I could say, but don't let me be sentimental, and don't let me be unnecessarily critical. Let me just say it as it is. First of all, I don't see any sense of a tactical approach by Ole to any game. You know, you you tend to listen to his post-match interviews, even when they do win matches, when he's asked about how he set up the team, and when he's asked about how the team won the game, his most popular words are, you know what, I just told the boys to go out there and have fun and to express themselves. I mean, who does that? Football is more than just going out there and having fun and expressing yourself, because at the end of the day, when you come up against certain opponents, you need to think, you need to do your homework, you need to work on set pieces, you need to work on the individuals who will be on the pitch, you need to work on game plays. You need to strategize. So hearing that from a manager of a team like Manchester United, it's absolutely appalling. A lot of times I feel like probably Mike Phelan is the one pulling the strings, and Ole is just there as the figurehead. And then I think about the hierarchy and the way they run the club. The Glazier family and Ed Woodward, for them, it seems to be more of business. Since 2011, since they got Manchester United into the stock market, I just knew that, what, it seemed like this club was just going to go downhill. But whilst Alex Ferguson was still there, he was still able to hold it down for one more season. However,
Mhm.
after Sir Alex left, it just seemed like any coach that comes in does not get the freedom that he needs to take care of the team, basically. Same thing with Van Gaal, same thing with Mourinho. These coaches left in a very angry manner, and they were not pleased with Ed Woodward and the way he was managing the team. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the perfect person for Ed Woodward. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a yes man. Whatever Ed Woodward says, he says yes, boss. Does not counter at all. So but then I then begin to wonder, when I see the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson in the stands, likes of Sir Bobby Charlton in the stands, how do they feel? What what is their opinion? Do they even have an opinion in the club anymore? I mean, it's quite appalling to see the way Manchester United is. It's been so long since I saw them play good football. Towards the end of last season, they seemed to start to come back into it. After that 6-1 win against Bournemouth, and when we had Anthony Martial score a hat trick, first Manchester United player to score a hat trick since Sir Alex last season, the 2012-2013 season. So I mean, another problem is the fact that they don't have quality in depth. When that starting 11 is not ticking, it's a problem for Manchester United. When they have to rotate the squad, it's a problem for Manchester United. So they need to do a whole lot more, and I believe the board needs to roll out the cash. Now, you don't necessarily need to get in expensive players like Sancho, who will cost you 120 million pounds,
Mhm.
but then you need to bring in players who can get the job done. I mean, they had a brilliant deal in bringing in Donny van der Beek. So you bring in a player of that caliber, but then you leave him sitting on the bench. Why? The few appearances that Van der Beek has had, we see the way he turns things around. He's an impact player, and that's the kind of player that Manchester United need. So why not work on your defense? Why not make it solid, and then experiment in having Pogba and Van der Beek in a double pivot position, and allow Bruno Fernandes, give him that freedom to do whatever he wants, but just to make sure that your wingers can track back. What's so difficult
But
in doing that? Now they've gone into panic buys. They've got Edinson Cavani now.
yeah, I wanted to
Teles
mention
is
that.
coming.
Yeah.
Panic buys, you don't really need Edinson Cavani. With the way Ole has been managing the team, now Odion Igalo is out of form. Even when he starts, he's not able to bag a goal. So
Hmm.
many things are going wrong right now at Manchester United. So I believe there needs to be serious overhauling. Maybe they need to hit rock bottom before they finally get the fact that, what, this used to be one of the most prestigious clubs in the world, not just English football. You can't afford to
Hmm.
allow this type of club to lose its prestige in the world of football. No, it's unacceptable.
Yeah, because it's even looking at the last game against Brighton Hove and Albion, it was the better team that lost. And bringing that same form into this game against Tottenham, we all know were busy. They played like 3 games in how many weeks? In 1 week, and you could still see that they looked the better side in today's game. But is Edinson Cavani, the new guy Alex Telles, are they the answer to Ole's issue, Ole's problem?
Well, with Alexis Tellers coming in, I think is an advantage because on the left side, on the left wing back position or left back position, they have issues. They don't have Luke Shaw of his Southampton days, who was very, very solid. He's injury prone, goes in, he's there today, he's not there the next 3 weeks. We have the Brandon Williams, who is there, and he had a very, very disastrous game the last outing. So they don't have anybody to fit to fill that position. With Alexis Tellers coming in, I see it's a good buy. But now, as Okwe said earlier, talking about the panic buys, since Social took over, I'm trying to talk a little about since he took over. He had a very good 6 month stint earlier before he got his contract signed. Now we believed we all as football fans saw light at the end of the tunnel for Man U, which means we are seeing brighter or better days coming. But as it went on, I believe something went wrong. And now, for things to go wrong presently, I'll come back to your question. Sorry, Anthony. I'll come back to your question. For things to go wrong in Manchester United, I don't see it as being just the manager. Okwes stated it earlier. It's from the hierarchy. Man U presently is imploding, and they are doing it well. They are doing it so well. There is disorganization in the team. I don't see. I don't want to start picking out individual players. I don't want to talk tactics here. It is more like Manchester United. I won't say glory days are dead. They are no longer there. I'm not saying. I don't know how I wish so you would feel what I'm feeling, because if you've seen Manchester United in the past 20 years, past 2 to 3 decades, they play the best football in the whole of England. But what we are seeing these days, oh my God, if you don't have the help of the 12th man on the pitch, then there's a problem. Because if you look at Ultra, yes, we had pandemic last season. Things came up, we saw things coming about, but we
Yeah.
realized that they were awarded penalties week in, week out, these things, if these penalties were not there, Man U would have started doing the same thing by the end of last season. And I will guarantee you that they
But
would have
some
made
will argue,
the top four. No, some would argue.
some
But
will
this has
argue
been
with
a
you
problem
that
that's been growing.
penalty is part of football.
No, it's not of football. No, I'm saying no. Now, yeah, the VAR came in. I don't know if you get. They were awarded the penalties. What if the VAR cancelled out these penalties? What would have happened? Are they going to get these goals? Are they going to get these winning goals? Because you realize that these penalties are actually most of their winning goals. It's what gives them the 3 points. But if these penalties were not given, what would happen? It only means they've been covered up by these penalties. I don't know if you get me. Now they played 90 minutes football, and you saw Anthony Martial getting a red card for what? He's a professional, for God's sake. So the goal they scored was a penalty. If that didn't come, what other attempt did Manchester United make? If we all saw the game. So it's not, I don't want to analyze just this game. It's been happening, but they've been getting away with it. But this time, who came to shop for God's sake? And we saw the whole thing happening. Back to your question. Cavani is just coming to Manchester United to actually come and collect pension and gratuity. He's coming into United, he's come and earn £250,000 weekly for what? Does Manchester United, this one I'll ask myself is, does that team actually lack strikers? They have so much strikers that Odion is becoming a pensioner on the bench. So these questions.
Well, it could be a motivator to the young strikers, Martial and Rashford.
Rashford, Martial.
It could be.
Let's Rashford, Martial, this other young guy, West, what's his name? This 19-year-old boy. Yeah, we are explosive all through last season. What did we for? That's the question I'll ask. What if you bring in a Cavani? Let's not forget we have an Odion who is 31 on the bench already. Sorry, not on the bench, on the second bench already. So bringing a Cavani, you're going to put a Marshall on the bench, on the first bench, and the other youngster put him on the second bench with Igalo. United needs to sit down and sort things out. This what is happening now shouldn't be happening with a Manchester United team. Sorry, with an almighty Manchester United team. So I don't talk tactics. I don't analyze the football. United needs to sort themselves out and do it fast.
Where was it take?
Look, really, I could hear the pain in Chimamaka's voice, because if you think about it, we're all football fans. We love to see good football, irrespective of where our heart lies. And then it's quite painful to see a club like that just nosediving. I take you back to the first game of the season for United against Crystal Palace. I watched the game, and I must tell you, I was frustrated. I don't remember the last time I watched a football game and I was absolutely frustrated. I hated the body language from the players. I hated the fact that individuals were not up to standard. You know, when you expect a world-class player to deliver week in and week out, and that player does not deliver, and then you think about the wages the player is on, you think about the value that the player has, you think about what the player does off the field, and then you think about the fact that he's not putting in the same energy on the field that he puts off the field. It's disheartening, to be honest. And for one thing, it pains me so much that it just seems like the legacy that has been installed might just keep on being tarnished just because just because of business, you know. But then I'm not saying football is all about what happens on the pitch. Yes, there are other factors that should be considered, but nevertheless, the primary function of a club is to always function on the pitch. If you're not doing well on the pitch, truth be told, any other thing happening outside does not really matter. The matters on the pitch are the most important things. Every other thing is just an addition, you know. So they should focus on what is happening on the pitch. Then again, I'll take you back to the academy. United have had a good number of players coming through the academy, but it's not the same anymore. It's not the same compared to the class of 92 and 93, you know. And then when you take a look at the crop of young players coming through, only very few can actually be good enough to make it into the first team. And then the remaining who probably have the potential don't even have the opportunity to get into the first team. So you know, if you want to be like the Chelseas and the Real Madrids and the Juventus and the Inter Milan, you want to buy players, go ahead, but buy quality players at reasonable prices. Get what you need. It's all about what you need right now. Let me just give you an example. Assuming Manchester United had Jadon Sancho at their disposal, right? But then the game against Brighton or the game against Crystal Palace, what if he was injured? Would you then say that, okay, because he's injured, that's why the team did not function well? Absolutely ridiculous. You cannot tell me that Manchester United will all of a sudden become so much better if Jadon Sancho joins the club. They still have defensive issues. A lot of Manchester United fans felt like Victor Lindelof was the issue. Now they saw that today that Harry Maguire seems to be 80 million pounds down the drain. He just seems to be one tall fridge, you know. So when you then begin to think about it, okay, we then talk about the midfield. Pogba is not at his best. Nemanja Matic has lost the legs, you know, and then Martial, it's just been consistent of him to always just zone out mentally. Once he's not in a good frame of mind, it's difficult for him to play good football. Same thing with Rashford. Once Rashford feels frustrated, he's out of the game. He's not able to replicate the performance that he had against Brighton in the Premier League. So a lot of all these things, and I'm just wondering why Ole does not actually want to try and build a team Odion Igalo. Yes, the time frame is short in which you live, but I tell you that Odion Igalo is a much more experienced player compared to Martial, Rashford, and Mason Greenwood. Odion Igalo has Premier League experience. You can always approach a match in about three different ways if you have a striker like Odion Igalo on the pitch. You can play the ball high because he can actually hold up play for you. You can decide to play tiki taka. You want to play one touch football. Odion Igalo is there for you. If you just want to play compact football like a 4-1-2-1-2 or a 4-4-2, Odianigalo knows how to make those runs in behind the defenders. He knows how to find space for himself. So if you have an individual like that who can be prolific in front of goal, with his statistics so far for Manchester United, with the number of stars that he had before the end of last season, why not try and build something around him? Fine, Odianigalo might not be the solution in the long term, but while he's there, why not make the best use of him? And then you probably get a better striker at a younger age. So a lot of things are going wrong at Manchester United. It's absolutely appalling, and as a football fan, I'm sad. It's quite sad.
Yeah, really, as football fans, we know what happened when Alex Ferguson was at the helms of affairs and was at the helm of affairs, and we saw quality out of Manchester United. But what we're seeing right now is not what we as football fans, even if we love Manchester United losing, as for me as an Arsenal fan, it's cool when we see it for banter's sake, but for the love of football, it's taking football to another level in terms of quality from Manchester United. But really, I think they need to do like a self-refresh, like press that refresh button. I think the entire team need to be refreshed because they have young and quality players. Could it be an issue of from a technical perspective from the coach? Could it be that Ole is not capable enough? Because even if he gets Sancho, even if he brings in Cavani, like we know Cavani is on his way, and tell us, even when they join, is it still going to be the same, or are we going to see something different from Manchester United?
I doubt that. I doubt that in every shape, size, form. I don't know why I'm bitter towards Manchester United. I'm not a United fan, but they are killing the football that we've loved to watch. Now, in my opinion, I feel they lack the right motivation. There's no leadership quality there. I don't even want to talk about leadership quality because first, if I'm going to tag Maguire, it's another story from that day. But as Ole is, as Okwe said earlier, you watch post match interviews and you start hearing things from social that you are like, is this should this be the statements coming from a manager? It's terrible to hear. It's terrible to listen. I don't know how to express myself because the bitterness is so much. I'm no longer talking as an analyst. I'm talking as a fan who is pissed. Note, I'm not a United fan. I'm a football fan. So as I'm saying, because it's bitter. It's bitter to see. You see things actually. If you talk about Pogba has lost his self confidence. He has lost his self motivation. Every of their front line has lacked that motivation. They've all lacked everything. Talk about what was his name? Maguire. I think the guy he's living on the trauma of Greece, which I know it will take a while for that to phase out. Then you talk of Lindelof. He's 1 day in, 10 days off. You talk of Eric Belly. Eric Belly will come and give you a very, very wonderful 65 minutes and give you a 365 days of nonsense football. So please, there's so much to talk about United. I think this our podcast for today is talking solely on United because from what I have seen, starting from their gaffer, in fact, nobody has talked about the goalkeeper. It's on that story from that day. So there is so much to talk about. United. I think they need an angel from heaven to come and sort them out because as it stands, they will keep going this way till things are done. I don't have a solution for them. They know the best solution to give themselves because I'm not enjoying. I'm no longer enjoying watching United football as it stands presently. I don't enjoy watching it. It's nonsense.
So we switch over to the other side of Manchester United, which is Manchester City. We saw how they struggled against Leeds United yesterday. It was tagged the tutor versus the mentor or the teacher. We saw how, despite the amount of money Manchester City have invested into the team, we saw Diaz joining them from Benfica, £65 million. We still saw how they struggled yesterday. Where has this gone wrong for Guardiola? I saw a funny tweet saying ever since Mikel Arteta left Guardiola has never been the same. But where do we see this? It was fun to watch yesterday from a neutral point of view, seeing how Leeds and Manchester City went at it, and they had to go against each other trying to nick the win. But on the footballing side, in terms of transfers that we're talking, does Guardiola still need to bring in additional players, or is it done in terms of transfers for this transfer window? Okay.
Um, they can't be done yet, sadly. I think they need to bring in a striker in number nine. And I'll tell you why. Sergio Kun Aguero is at the back end of his career. His final year at Manchester City, but then he's struggling seriously with injury. He was meant to be back for the start of the season, but had a setback during recuperation. So he's going to spend more time out. And then you talk about the 23-year-old Gabriel Jesus. Uh, the first time when he came to the Premier League, January 2018, if I'm not mistaken, he hit the Premier League ablaze. He was all guns blazing, firing on all cylinders. I love to watch him play. And I will tell you that I actually saw comparisons between him and Ronaldo de Lima. When you see a striker who can press high, first of all, a striker who can press high, a striker who knows how to play football, a striker who is skillful, a striker who can run with the ball, and knows how to score goals. He reminded me a lot of de Lima. However, you then begin to see that I don't know if it's lack of confidence or the fact that he's not just as clinical as he should be, and he has a lot to improve in his game. He's still young, but then I'm glad that he has been getting the run of games that he has had so far in his career. But definitely, I need to see that improvement that he has learned from people like Aguero, from David Silva, from De Bruyne, on how to be clinical in front of goal and being at the right place at the right time. So now he's injured as well. And I take you back to the match against Leeds. Look, Guardiola was to blame for that result, in my own opinion, because Guardiola knows what to do. But then I begin to think that Guardiola started to second guess himself. This thought dropped in my mind immediately when I watched the game Lyon versus Manchester City. The Champions League semi-final, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was the semi-final. The way Manchester City were set up, it was just clear to me that Guardiola was not sure of himself and sure of his players. Usually if Manchester City went out to play their usual game of the 4-3-3 high pressing against Lyon, I believe Manchester City would have gone away with the win. Instead, he went for three at the back. He played both Rodri and Fernandinho, and there was little or no creativity. Kevin De Bruyne was just left alone in one right-hand pocket of the Lyon defense, and obviously Jason Denayer, Marcal, they were just able to keep De Bruyne into one position. Same thing with Toko Nkabi, he was able to track back for De Bruyne. So until the second half, when he took off Rodrigo, and then they began to play the free-flowing football that we know them to play. But then it was too late because, Lyon had already buried the game. Same thing against Leeds United yesterday. The front three, there was no, they were not gelling. It was like they didn't know who each other was. It's like Ferran Torres just joined. you know. And then when you have such players of that caliber, I expected that it's either of two things. It's either Raheem Sterling plays as the false nine, or you have Ferran Torres playing as the false nine. Why is that? Because Riyad Mahrez has shown that he's most productive on the right hand side of an attack, even for Algeria. A lot of times he has been deployed in a playmaking role. He has been deployed on the left and through the middle for Algeria. But at the end of the day, he becomes so much more dangerous, even for Leicester City back in the days when he plays on the right hand side. So you know that. So why not leave him on the right hand side and allow him to do what he does best? He already has a good understanding with De Bruyne and Kyle Walker. So why not allow them to do what they know how to do best? You then play Mahrez through the middle. For the first 45 minutes, Mahrez was nowhere to be found. He was just oblivious in the whole game. And then with Ferran Torres, he had like few flashes of brilliance, but then he was not able to. The link-up play was not just there. There was no understanding between him and his teammates. A lot of time he was able to cut in, but then the final pass was poor. Why? Because it's either De Bruyne makes the run too early or makes the run too late. Same thing with Mahrez, same thing with Sterling. They were not just on the same wavelength, you know. And then with Raheem Sterling, he will give you a few flashes of brilliance, and all of a sudden he goes to sleep. You know, but and then I feel like if City started the game with Ferran Torres through the middle, Mahrez on the right, Raheem Sterling on the left, or either you have Sterling through the middle, Ferran Torres on the left, Mahrez on the right, they would have played much better football. And then one major issue for Manchester City is Benjamin Mendy. I don't know why Pep Guardiola keeps starting Benjamin Mendy. This guy cost them 9 points
That guy
last season.
looks.
Ha!
He looks.
Why
He
does
looks
why
like
does
a
Pep
rock.
keep doing that?
A rock
He
that
cost
can
them nine
move.
points last season. Let me tell you something that Pep did that I can never understand. At the start of last season, he brought back Angelino from PSV Eindhoven. Angelino had a brilliant season with PSV Eindhoven, double figures in goals and assists for a left back. For a fullback, that is absolutely amazing. Fine, you bring him back because there is a buyback clause. Only for you to bring Angelino back to be a third choice centre back, third choice left back behind Benjamin Mendy and Alexander Zinchenko, who is injury prone. Why do you do that? Okay, now Zinchenko is out for a lengthy period. Mendy was out for a lengthy period, but then you still chose to probably just play someone like Kyle Walker or Juan Cancelo on as a left back. You then send Angelino out on loan to RB Leipzig. See the way Angelino blossomed at RB Leipzig, went all the way to the quarterfinal of the Champions League. You know, I mean, he was at the same stage with his parent club. Fine, you go off and sell uh, Angelino. Okay, you say you don't want him. You say he doesn't cannot fit into your team, but you still don't address that issue on the left hand side. And I was wondering why he did not just start Nathan Ake as left back. First of all, I was surprised to see Ruben Diaz in the team to start. So that means Ruben Diaz is good enough to start. He has gotten acclimatized to the team in a number of days he has been there. Fine, that's good enough for him to start. However, why not put Nathan Ake at that left back position? We all know that Nathan Ake can play as a left back, as a centre back, and as a defensive midfielder. Why give yourself issues? Benjamin Mendy only knows what to do when he goes forward. Even when he goes forward, he's not as productive as the likes of Kieran Tierney, Andy Robertson, Jordi Alba. He's not even as productive as his compatriots in Lucas Hernandez, Luca Digne. You know, Benjamin Mendy is for me is not a footballer anymore. You know, Benjamin Mendy just loves the lifestyle of being a celebrity and he doesn't know what to do on the pitch. No man, I don't know what's wrong with Pep. I feel he has lost his ways. Um, Definitely, I feel Arteta leaving him.
Okpa is obviously pissed.
No, honestly, it's appalling. I think Arteta leaving him probably took away some sort of stability, you know. And then one thing about Pep is that Pep is not the best man manager. That's why you know you have a lot of players after they've left Pep, they come out to say when they have one issue or the other with him. Yes, a lot of players praise him, but then they will let you know that when it comes to one-on-one management, look, Pep is not the best person. That's why you have a lot of players. That's why Leroy Sané left. You know, so he needs to find something to do, and this is a reason why he has not extended his contract. 1 year left on his contract. Trust me, if Pep is not able to find a solution, Pep will walk away from Manchester City.
Chimamaka.
Okpa said everything actually. When I saw the game, I was like, Ateta has done something bad to Pep, and he would need to go and see Ateta again and ask for forgiveness because since that guy left his side, it has been a very very terrible marriage with Manchester City. First, you spotted his tactical approach towards the game. I will fault him from the beginning of the game actually. playing Mahrez, who nobody should be telling him who he knows plays his best football on the right side of attack, and you are bringing him to come and dance in the middle. Now you are bringing in my aunt actually with him was starting a defender who he just bought. I don't know the kind of mathematics he thought about to come and start the guy. Yeah, the guy had some flashes of brilliance at the back at some point, but you realize that he actually needed more time to acclimatize with the players, and know how they play. Now, what happened in the attack of Manchester City yesterday was lack of understanding, lack of communication. When, like Okpa said earlier, when Ferran Torres wants to make a final pass, and you see either you are going way back before the ball or going way ahead of the ball, there's this kind of understanding. We know when we have Raheem Sterling with Aguero, we understand the brilliance. We know the communication. We see how it goes. Now playing Mahrez, actually in the whole of first half, whole of 45 minutes, I looked for Mahrez, I didn't find him. Now we are all talking about Manchester City, but let's give credit also to Leeds United. Yesterday they were able to contain Manchester City and play their own football. What the setup of Marcelo Bielsa was what actually frustrated the midfield of Manchester City, which made them not have room to play at all. Yes, they played normally. It's Manchester City, they have so much possessions, but the idea of Marcelo Bielsa having his team is not just making attempts, but make attempts that are make valid attempts on goals. Yesterday, I realized that the shots on target for Manchester City yesterday was just one. Nobody saw that. They just saw the dance in the middle of the park and never saw attempts that were going. But they had 13 attempts off target. It means something is going on wrong. So
but
I don't know.
To be fair, Man City, they were that clinical yesterday. They should have nicked that game. They should have won. They were not just clinical because really, yes, Leeds United contained them, but Manchester City just didn't up the ante to win that game.
Like I said earlier, Guardiola should go back to Arteta and do the needful. If it's a bottle of Seaman aromatic shinap, it will do a great lot. So that's me.
Well, unfortunately, Guardiola is not an Igbo man to go and offer Arteta a bottle of shinap. But the thing is, newsflash: Aston Villa 3-1, leading Liverpool 3-1. What's happening in this league? What is happening? 3-1. They're trashing Liverpool. But we move on to Chelsea. Chelsea won yesterday comfortably 4-0, beating Crystal Palace. Was that a London derby? Could it be classified as London derby? Two London teams. Yeah, 4-0. And we saw Ben Chilwell scoring a goal on his debut game, EPL debut game. He debuted in the EPL. But Lampard spending over 200 million pounds, bringing in new set of players. But the thing is, they've not sold yet. So we don't know, maybe before the transfer window closes tomorrow, they would have floated some players. We know this other guy has joined Aston Villa, Ross Barkley. And some other transfers too are muted. Ross Barkley are muted for players that would get out of Chelsea. But what you think, as Chimamaka as a Chelsea fan, would you say Lampard has already found his stride in terms of the new addition that he has brought in, winning comfortably 4-0 Crystal Palace? We saw the games they played. They've lost against Liverpool. They drew against West Brom, and they've won one, drew, and lost one. So what's your take? Is that fair on the side of Lampard?
Well, on the side of Lampard, because he won 4-0 doesn't mean that we will not put the sticks to his back when it's needed. Actually, yes, he has spent over 200 million on players. It's not an excuse for any manager to spend that and start not delivering actually. So with what happened yesterday, Chelsea had we've seen this in the past season where we had lapses. Now on the left back position where Ben Chilwell filled in yesterday, he was solid. Yeah, good to have him make his debut. Is this EPL debut and his 100th EPL game. which ended up with a goal and an assist. That was wonderful for him. Now, with Ben Chilwell coming in, we had problems with left back. Yesterday, or the game Chelsea played against Crystal Palace, that position was solid. We now see that, okay, they are coming in to come and do this. They are coming in to come and do this. So on the position for left back is covered. Lampard is covered there with Zuma and Thiago Silva's pairing. It was awesome. We had Aspi starts at right back, so there was a solid defense in the midfield. Yeah, we had a Jorginho who started the game. He was awesome all through. You cannot rule him out. He was awesome all through. In the attack, yeah, the attack is just trying to get to blend things out. But well, back to your question, 4-0 is a good one. It's just we just have to keep the momentum coming in, and we hope that with time, as Kai Havertz said, with time the team will blend in well, and we'll have better days ahead. We have better days ahead.
But critically looking at Lampard, is he technically sound to take Chelsea to that next level in terms of all the acquisition he has made this transfer window, spending over £200 million? Does Lampard have what it takes to take Chelsea to the next level?
First of all, as a coach, technically he's good enough. He's good enough. He knows his onions. I saw what he did with Derby County. I watched them that season in the 2018-2019 season. Watched them closely, and I liked rather in the 2017-2018 season. I like what he did, with the team, and it was good enough. It was great. And then, but with Chelsea, he's learning on the job, but he's learning fast. I must tell you. I'll give you an example. What I say when I say he's learning fast. The centre back pairing, Thiago Silva's first his debut, against West Brom. You saw him on the left hand side of the defense, pairing with Andreas Christensen. Now, for the last 5 years at PSG, when Thiago Silva plays, he plays on the right hand side of the defense, and then beside him he has a personal Kimpembe or Gabriel Marquinhos actually beside him. Now, the thing is that a lot of times now in the last 2 seasons when he did play, he spent less time on the ball. He spent more time watching and guiding his defense and organizing his defense. So he had personal Kimpembe beside him, and he had a Marquinhos who was playing as a defensive midfielder, but always drops back, to that hole. And then you have the Thiago Silva move out a bit to the right hand side, not too far away, from Marquinhos, not too far away from the defensive line. So he's there to hold it up. So I believe that Lampard learned from that. You could see that now Thiago Silva has moved back to the right hand side of the defensive pairing, and Kozuma is beside him. Going forward, I believe that if Chelsea is able to sell Anthony Rudiger, and next season, I think Lampard should consider actually, if he wants to keep Thiago Silva, he should consider buying a left-footed centre back. Someone that will make the job easier for Thiago Silva, especially when he's caught out on the ball. Because trust me, Thiago Silva will be beaten when it comes to pace. He'll be beaten probably when it comes to one-on-one marking. He's strong enough, right? But then he doesn't have the legs to go for days. And trust me, as at now, he does not have the stamina to give 110% for 90 minutes. What 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 actually made Thiago Silva look very good yesterday was the fact that Chelsea had more possession of the ball. So they were playing a lot of the football was up in the opposition's half. So not seeing Thiago Silva so much on the ball was good enough. And anytime you saw him on the ball, he was sharp, he was fresh to clear the ball, to organize his defense. Doesn't speak so much of English, but then the charisma, the body language, his influence alone around his teammates just shows you that look, he's a leader, he's a natural born leader. That's why he had the captain's armband on his debut, because he's that natural born leader for you. And then going forward, Lampard is starting to realize that, you know what, I need to chop and change these players, because there will become a time where Chelsea will need to stick with a certain starting 11. Let me tell you, in my opinion, with the crop of players that he has, the best starting 11 for Chelsea has to be, with for now with Edouard Mendy behind goal, Rhys James at right back, the centre back pairing of Thiago Silva and Kozuma, Ben Chilwell as the left back. In that middle, Kovacic and Kante. Then going forward, he has two options. Either it's Ziyech, Havertz, Werner, and Abraham, or Ziyech, Havertz, Pulisic, and Werner up front. Now, I'm sure many Chelsea fans and Premier League fans will have realized that look, Timo Werner is not an out-and-out striker. You know, at Leipzig, he was able to thrive because he was playing most of the time he was playing a 4-4-2 formation or a 3-5-1-2 formation. So he always had a strike partner. So he's great with link-up play. If you are thinking about one of the best strikers in world football today, who is great with link-up play, Olivier Giroud has to be in the top three. Quote me anywhere on that. Look, for the good number of years that Olivier Giroud was with Arsenal, he was instrumental in great team goals. Olivier Giroud knows how to play tiki-taka. If you want to play one touch football, Olivier Giroud is there for you. And Olivier Giroud knows how to bring in his he knows how to incorporate his fellow attackers into the is with the hold up play. So he can be that he can be that distraction for the defenders and create space for Timo Werner. A lot of time Abraham tried to do that. Abraham tried to bring out defenders, and then you see Werner in that left hand position, and then Werner
Hi, Opa. Can you hear me? It seems the. Are you there?
he has blistering
Okay.
pace. He's great with the ball at his feet. You take
I think it's freezing,
look
so it's
Yes,
was
yes,
that question.
this
because
party.
Opa, if you can hear me, the network is kind of like free, like a bit squeaky from your end.
Against
I'm finding it hard to hear you. Oh,
well taking as strikers
Then,
can you hear us?
I think you would see a lot of times you see even on the left hand side a lot this season. However, once the
Can Opa hear us?
I think what Lampard would
I don't think he's hearing us. Are you hearing us?
Just, maybe you might just have to join us again, but because I was struggling to hear him, the network was bad. But moving on with the review, Arsenal. Let's talk about Arsenal. Arsenal, we saw the game against Sheffield United. It was a scrappy win. Would you say it was a scrappy win? Yeah, there were 2 goals up. Sheffield United put a goal back, and they almost wanted to take a point. You know, Arsenal, they always have this issue. Sheffield United, their first 3 games, they've not scored. But when they played against Arsenal, they scored their first goal of the season. You know, it's always like that. When you see a team that have not won with a couple of games, when they meet Arsenal, they will try to win or do something. But where do you see Arsenal? We know the whole transfer news that have been the players that have been linked with Arsenal, Hussein R, and Thomas Partey. With the news coming in out yesterday, saying that deal might not happen, and Arsenal they're looking to get Jorginho from Chelsea. As a Chelsea fan, what's your take on these transfers, Partey and Hussein Mawar?
Well, as now talking about the football yesterday, today, earlier today, they, as you said, a scrappy win, but scrappy win with 2-1, going 2 goals off, wouldn't have been scrappy, but they had a terrible first half, in my opinion. Why I would say this, because I saw what Arteta was trying to do. if you remember in I think our previous podcast or two podcasts before today's on, I stated something about introducing Mesut Ozil into that squad. They lacked that. It was very, very,
Yeah,
very, very. They lacked
yeah, they lack
going
creativity.
forward. That
Yeah.
was their downturn. This in this whole game, they lacked that going forward. So for me to be seen and not doing the job of a Mesut Ozil, when you have Mesut there who's not having game time and collecting 350,000 pounds, no, he has
Mm-hmm.
this year left. You can utilize him and he's going to play. That's the thing, because now Arsenal is not going to be able to get Hussein Aouar any longer, who is a very creative midfielder. Who's
Yeah.
going to fill in that spot? Like I said earlier, I said some weeks back. You have to bring this guy back into the fold. Ozil is a professional. He's going to do this. It's what he's born to do. It's what he's been doing all his football career life. So bring him in and come and make. He would open those blockages. He's going to open those doors. That's what he does. So now
But
Arsenal is
it
having the same
seems
problem.
it seems Ozil is not fitting into the philosophy of Arteta because we know how he sets up to play games. Like I said, he sees these guys in training. He sees Ozil. We don't know whatever might have happened during
No,
the pandemic. But
let's
yes, when Arteta took over the first 11 games, Ozil featured. So all of a sudden, the pandemic came, coronavirus, and now football resumed. Ozil is no more. So who knows what is happening at the back? Who knows what's happening behind the
yeah.
scenes? Arteta too would want his job to be that easy. And moreover, I'm sure the club, they're trying to ease him out from the team. So why would Arteta want to put Ozil in his plans for the future? He's building for the future. I hope you know that.
Yeah,
So if he puts Ozil into the picture right now, so what happens when Ozil leaves at the end of the season? Does he need to start all over again? I think those are
I,
all the
I
things that they're trying to put into
Yeah,
consideration.
there are so many questions to be asked actually in that Ozil regard. Talking about the game actually, if you look at Ozil's will I call it a predicament in Arsenal? He started after the he started at the start of the the lockdown, or at the end of the lockdown actually. So if you look at that, I don't know what's happening. I cannot tell you what's happening behind the scenes. So many things are going on. But before the lockdown, we had Ozil playing. The manager might have a philosophy. Okay, now we used to have an Arsenal of an Arsenal squad whereby they have 22 players, and out of 22 players, you have about 10, 11 players all injured. There was a time that it happened in Arsenal. Is it when it gets to such kind of stage that you now start calling the so-called how do I rejected player? I believe yes, you have a philosophy. What's going to work for is going to work for you. He was able to grind out a win in this game, but would it keep happening that way? Ozil,
The
your
same thing
philosophy.
happened. The same thing happened too against West Ham at home.
Yeah,
Same thing.
exactly. So are you going to keep struggling to do this when you have this player on the ground? Your philosophy sometimes would fail you. In games, they'll fail you. You have to start thinking of something else. Like we are talking about Man City and Arteta, their love story. We saw since Arteta left, that thing has been lacking in Manchester City.
Yeah,
I don't know
true.
if you understand. There's a philosophy. This person will bring his idea, and this person's idea might decide to work better than the gaffer's ideas. I don't know if you
Mhm.
understand. So in the case of Arteta and Ozil and Arsenal Football Club, I believe they should actually give Ozil some playing time, and they would love football to be played. Then secondly, I want to state that Aubameyang plays his best football on the left side of attack, but in the game I saw Arsenal play, he was lost all through on that left side of attack. Then I then asked myself, is a striker? There's sometimes you should put him in to play from the center as
I
an
think he
attacker.
did that
Not
today. He did.
no,
He did that today.
no,
He
he
did
has
that
to do
today.
that in the
Switched
second half.
in the second
I
half.
don't know if
Yeah,
you get
he
he has
did
to do that
that.
in the second
Mhm.
half, not in the first half. Because in the first half, he was just all lost there. He was in a no
Mhm.
man's land. So
Yeah.
I believe yes, this philosophy you're talking about, he's still building his philosophy. It's not like he has it on black and white. It's something he's going to
Mhm.
be building, and as he plays it game in game out, it's going to grow. It's going to become something. Now he should start infusing players into this team. Arsenal granted a 2-1 win. The next game might not be that way. But all kudos to the squad. They have to fight their way through actually,
So
and
how many
United.
how many players do we see joining us now before the transfer window closes tomorrow, October
But
5th?
if I'm going to give a number, I would say one player is looking likely to come, but I doubt it will be Jorginho. I don't know where they're going to scrap that. I don't know if they're going to do a panic buy from somewhere because Leon is not letting Leon is not letting go
Oh,
of
yeah.
of Semawa. The only realistic player coming in now will be Thomas Partey. Why? Because of the amount. And I believe Arsenal can do 50 million euros to bring in Partey if that's what they want for now.
But
So it's
they will have to trigger the release clause of
the release clause
45 million
exactly.
pounds.
45
Yeah.
million, yeah. Yeah. If they're gonna if that's the only reality, because I don't see Chelsea letting out the Jorginho now, except things change. It's Chelsea Football
Mm-hmm.
Club. They have to let players go out. They've been bringing in players, just very few have gone out. Before the end of transfers by tomorrow, Chelsea should at least have let out three to four players. Not even if it's not outright sale, they should let go for loans to contain the space in the squad. So with us now, oh, it's the transfer and we know what football is these days. We know what football is saying. It's not easy bringing in players you want to bring in. The money, the money is the key. And with pandemic that has happened, many clubs are actually suffering it. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's wait and see till transfer.
Yeah.
But we get ourselves updated on.
Yes, I do. I share your opinion on the player that might come in, which is Thomas Partey, because the deal for the loan deal for Lucas Torreira, it arrived in Spain today. I think they've not announced it yet, but the deal is sealed already. The loan deal is sealed already. I think Arsenal want to use that as a bait in terms of triggering or having something to do with Thomas Partey, because the Lyon president is really nail bent on not letting Usain Aouar goes. And my fear about that is, they've been linked to this player for so many months. And what if they get this guy and he comes into the team and he doesn't perform? Because Premiership is a different ball game. What if he comes in and he doesn't perform? You know,
Oh,
so
that's true. That's true.
yeah, we know tomorrow is going to be interesting in terms of deadline day. We're going to see a whole lot of transfer. Chelsea themselves are going to push some players out. Arsenal as well to push some players out to go on loan and also sell some players. There's still the Greek defender Papa. Her name is, yeah, he's there. There's this other guy too there. I think Rick Nelson to be sent
Yeah.
on loan. There are a lot of players that will go out of the team come tomorrow. And also, Arsenal still have some players, Carlos Chambers, Pablo Mari, Gabriel Martinelli, they are injured. When they come back as well, they will serve as new signings to the team, you know. So it is going to be interesting, like I mentioned. We don't need to talk about Tottenham. Tottenham, the signed players. Is there any other player Mourinho is looking at bringing to join the
Yeah,
Tottenham team?
he's looking at bringing in Chelsea's Antonio Rudiger on loan for the season, but we don't know how concrete that is. Tony Rudiger, as it stands, is actually pushing his way to making that trip to the other side of London, or the other side of London. But we don't know what's going to happen. Frank Lampard is not seeming to budge on letting Rudiger go all the way to Tottenham. Instead, he's thinking of sending Anthony Rudiger back to Roma on loan. But we don't know what can happen. Rudiger is settled in England. He's settled in London. So football, anything can happen. But why not Tottenham? Maybe because they are rival fans. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Lampard stated that he doesn't want to let Rudiger go. But we realize that we have more than 4 central defenders. Rudiger is going to make it 5. So one will have to go. One will definitely have to go. We have the likes of Jacob Zuma. We have Fikayo Tomori, who Everton wants to take on loan, but Lampard is not bulging on that. We also have Christensen. We have Thiago Silva, who is still there. Then we have Antonio Rudiger. So those are 5 central defenders. Now this is going to be a tussle for sports. It's going to be a tussle for place. So Rudiger actually has not featured in any game, in any competition this season for Chelsea since the
But
start of the
I feel
season.
Lampard needs those legs because the
Yeah,
season fixtures are coming thick and fast. So he needs those legs to carry the entire season.
the entire but the squad number is is so much that you have to let players go. On the left,
Yeah, so
on the left back position, we have 3 left backs.
3.
And you
Marco
have to go.
Alonso.
So
Yeah.
on in the whole of central defense, we have about 5 of them there. In fact, we have 6. One of them is in the. We have 6. That's true. I didn't mention the Sa who we got for free transfer. He has not been loaned to
Okay.
anywhere yet. So you see, some players would have to go out, irrespective. Some players would have to go. But the question is, who are the players who are leaving? Who would those players be? In the midfield, we are thinking of Jorginho, who has to leave. We are thinking of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who has to go out on loan as well. That is it. We have lost Ross Barkley, who has gone to Aston Villa. So you see, these positions needs to be. We need to shed the weight. We need to shed the weight. We need to shed, like, okay, now luckily for us, Bakayoko is going to Napoli. He has gone there and I think he has completed his medicals today to Napoli. We still have Drinkwater, who is yet to get a club to play. So you see, the numbers are much. They have to be trimmed. They have to be cut. So we don't know who is going to be leaving. But I know for a fact that Tony Rudiger is going to find a place before the end of transfer. Malang Sarr is going to find a place before the end of transfer. Danny Drinkwater might decide to keep training with the team until the team comes for him. So there's to be listened to and to be followed by tomorrow. Definitely by tomorrow we'll have more concrete news.
So let's quickly touch on Everton. Everton have been impressive. 4 wins out of 4 games, topping. They are topping the EPL right now. They've made a couple of good signings, right?
Yeah, good.
So let's just quickly touch.
Yeah. Everton are playing the Ancelotti football that we know. He was able to bring in James Rodriguez, who has been wonderful. He has been able to bring in Ireland, who has been awesome. He has been able to infuse the experience in the midfield, which they lacked all through last season. Now we've had James Rodriguez, who has been able to play the number 10 role, which Everton lacked all through last season. So he was able now with James Rodriguez in the team. Richarlison playing on the left side of attack, and he has a very, very sharp presently sharp Calvert-Lewin nicking in the goals. And you have an Allen who is playing in the midfield, who is very solid in defensive midfield. In fact, he's more like a box-to-box midfielder. So Ancelotti is taking advantage of what he has presently. And as it is, we've known Ancelotti with the diamond formation. We have Yeremina, we have Keane playing in defense. We have Lucas Dean playing in the left wing back position, and you have these are guys who are hungry to perform, and they're ready to perform for their manager. Now, what I know Ancelotti has both the tactical knowledge, his years of experience has said that. His trophy cabinet is saying so much about that. Now the second thing I know he has is man management. He has been able to bring out the best in Calvert-Lewin, who lacked confidence all through last season. Yes, he was nicking in the goals, but he was not doing. He didn't do a quarter of what he has done already in 4 games. In 4 games, in 4 games spread. Okay, in 5 games spread across multiple competitions. Calvert-Lewin has had hat-tricks in both the EPL and the Carabao Cup. That is a good one. And he had a goal today in their game. So it is the motivation in the team is so much. Let's hope and believe that it's not going to come down, because with the way these guys are firing on all cylinders, they are the only team presently to have done 4 games and have all 12 points. And it's awesome.
Aston Villa is doing that at the moment. They're leading Liverpool 4-1. So that's 3 out of 3 in the number of games they've played. Yeah.
So you can see things are happening. It's the EPL. There are surprises here. In fact, I didn't actually expect some surprises to happen at the start stage of the season. There are some upsets that have come up in this season already that is telling you, man, you have to up your game. Every team has to up their game. See Aston Villa, who fought relegation. are doing wonders on the current EPL champions as it
Current
stands.
champions. Wow.
Who's going
So
to tell
that's
us
why
that
every
that will happen?
so that's why every 3 points is vital. Once you get the 3 points, it is vital, very, very vital. It's so sad Okwe couldn't join us. Okwe couldn't join us again. So we're about to round off this episode, FootyWit special episode, reviewing the EPL Game 4 and also the transfer news roundup. And we've basically touched every team, and we can't wait for tomorrow. We'll be following every detail of all the transfer news that will be coming out of the EPL. Which players will be shipped out, which players are coming in. It's been nice doing this with Chimamaka, the #1 Chelsea fan on FootyWit podcast. And my name is Ahiz Anthony. I'm a neutral fan, I'm a football fan. Though my heart belongs to Arsenal, yes, but I'm a football fan. We're here to talk about football. So we'll be coming up with our other episodes. Just watch out on our YouTube platform. We're also on social media. We're on Twitter. We are also on Instagram. Watch out. You can follow us and you can like us. And also, please subscribe in our YouTube channel. From us to you guys, we say have a nice week ahead.